Okay, now
Is this recording?
Oh, no, not yet. No. Now it is. So that says it's... Oh, you are live.
Oh, this camera.
Yes, oh. Hang on. Ah! And there's latency with it too.
Yeah.
So.
Let's not look at that screen.
No,
Let's
no.
look at that.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Okay, so hello everyone. I don't know if anyone is watching or not. No, we know no one is watching because no one is watching.
So we're having an experiment today.
Yes, this is an experiment. We're doing a podcast / live stream. Unannounced, because we don't really know how we're doing it and how it works. If anyone is watching this at any stage, let us know if the audio's alright and how everything is going. I don't know if this is going to stay up. Is this going to stay up? It probably stays on YouTube, doesn't it?
I think so, it does.
Alright. So we're basically doing a live stream of us recording a podcast, because we're recording a podcast right now.
Yeah.
And are live streaming it. Oh, and the stream health is not great. I think we're sort of breaking up a little bit. We'll see how we go, see how the connection is and all that sort of stuff. I
believe you can comment on this stream and we should be able to see it somewhere.
Yeah.
This is obviously...
Oh, there's 2 people watching now. Hello, 2 people that are watching.
Yeah, cool.
Apparently. Cool, so this is, basically, so
it's an experiment.
Yes. So welcome to the Super Fun Awesome Happy Time Pedal Show podcast. I'm Gabor.
Hey, I'm Alex. Welcome along.
And like I said, this is the first ever live stream that we've done. So we're not quite sure how it all works. So we're recording a podcast. You can still listen to the podcast the way you always listen to the podcast on iTunes and Podbean and Stitcher and Spotify and wherever.
Yep.
But we're also doing the we're doing it as a live stream now.
Cool.
So Alex, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Just got some coffees and it's a really great day here in southeast Queensland. Yep. Thanks to the little coffee place.
Refuel your drive, flying west.
In New Mundy. There's a little town just close by to your place. We're obviously in Gabor's studio if you're watching this.
Yes.
It's different surrounds.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little country town. Like twice a week they have massive markets, and I forgot it's market day. So it's really like tourist heavy with lots of tourists in the area come and check it out. It's pretty cool if you're into markets.
Your Monday markets,
and not parking. So
no, or paying a bit for parking.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot it was market day and eventually made it here and got coffee on the way. And but cool. It's kind of spring now, isn't it?
It's getting warm. It's getting nicer.
It's lovely.
Winter is sort of slowly leaving us. Sadly, I like winter.
Yeah, we've had our 3 weeks of winter.
I'm a winter guy. Anyway,
so we made it here and we're setting up some stuff. We've got what's this thing we got? The Black Magic.
We've got it. Yeah, it's just a Black Magic mini recorder thingy, and
so
hopefully, and this is actually first time we're using my new camera as well. So this is a new camera with a new lens. So let us know if we look even better and sexier than we usually do. Which I'm sure we do. There's 4 people watching now, so there you go.
Cool.
Hello, 4 people that are watching. So basically we thought we'll do this podcast, stream it and let us know if you want us to keep streaming it or not, or if anyone is interested in watching us do this or not. The audio, we couldn't quite work out how to use my interface to go in, so we're just using the camera audio today, but for the streaming, not for the podcast. But let us know and we'll hopefully it'll be alright.
Yeah.
But we'll see if we can work it out for next time. This is really just we weren't going to do this, but I got this in the mail the other day, that Black Magic thing, and I just thought let's quickly do it and see if it works or not.
Cool. So
new stuff.
We got some new toys.
Yes. Show us the new toys.
We're going to do some videos with, if you've got the magic...
if you've got the magic YouTube glasses on.
You see if it'll focus on that. Will focus?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, how's that?
Beautiful focus. That was some... Is it? And it's focusing... Yeah. Look at that. We're back.
Yeah, nice.
Modern technology.
So, if you didn't have your special glasses on, I've got a new pedal from Supro.
Do tell.
And it's the Fuzz. Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet. This is like an unboxing.
There you go. Take out the box.
So the thing with Supro, let me just see if wow, different shape to what I thought it would be.
It's tall.
Like taller, yeah. So the thing with Supro, is it going to focus? Focus, here we go, focus. So Supro is Pictronics.
Oh, is it?
The guys who run Pictronics run Supro. So they do Pictronics pedals and Supro pedals.
Did not realise that.
Well, I'm pretty sure it is. Is it? Correct us if we're wrong. 5 people are watching. Hello, 5 people. I thought it was the guy from whatever the guy's name is who started Pictronics, Mr. Pictronics. Pig first name, Tronics last name. If anyone in YouTube world knows more about it, let us know. Write us a comment. And if you would be so kind, if you're watching this, click the share. I think you can share it, like it, and share it, and tell your friends, and you know, let people know that we are streaming, which hopefully will continue going and not all of a sudden stop. We're new to this, so you know, we're just working it out how it goes. Okay, back to Supro. So yes, as far as I know, it's the Pictronics guys.
Right, cool.
But I mean, I could be wrong. But
I've got the what's the Ecolution delay
which if you watch our demos, that's always in there.
It's always the delay in the amp loop, and yeah, it's great. But I know they make some other quirkier stuff that I'd really like to check out.
The Mothership. That's one of them.
And like
which
the envelope tremolo thing, tremolo.
Chris has got. He's got the Mothership synthesizer, I think.
My hair.
He's losing hair. He's shedding. Shedding his winter fur.
Winter coat.
Yeah, I'd like to try it more. It's sort of hard to get a hold of at times around here.
Yeah.
So it's funny because you're shedding now. There's like about a 20-second delay or something like that. Hang on, we have a. Have you guys ever heard of Big Game pedals? No, I haven't.
Big Game? No.
No.
Tell us more about them.
Tell us more about it.
Is it you?
Jackson Eagles. Are you Big Game pedals?
Are you Big Game pedals?
No, we haven't heard of Big Game pedals.
It's a good name though.
It is a good name.
Yeah. That's another tricky thing, like names for products. I think it's probably just as hard as band names.
Well, I know with band names, in every band you always talk to, everyone always says we hate our band name. That's if there's one thing we could change, we would change a band name.
Yeah,
because it's so hard to kind of. Hang on.
Some of them are justified too.
No, he's not, but he wishes hard. No, where they're based, is that US based or are they English or European or where they're from? Big Game pedals. But yeah, but very keen to plug it in. So we were actually trying to, what we wanted to do with this today is, if the interface would have been recognised by the live streaming thingy, we were going to. I live in Queensland. We were going to plug that in and actually play it, because if it would have gone through the interface, we could have had the torpedo cab emulation and all the stuff, and it would have come out or should have come through relatively good quality, but. We not. Should we close the door because it's a bit noisy out there?
There's a truck out there.
Truck out there.
We'll close the door.
Close the door. So what was it talking about?
Pictronics.
Pictronics. Yeah, it'd be nice to try out some more of that stuff.
The one I want to check out is their Supro tremolo, which does harmonic tremolo.
Yeah, I'm just going to open up those blinds to get. You keep talking.
Because I think one of the sort of underused, underestimated, understood effects is harmonic tremolo, and it's such a great effect.
It's very cool. So, and Supro make one?
Yeah, actually I think it's in their little pamphlet in here.
Oh, hang on, there's another. The handmade pedals in the US, I believe they made an interesting pedal that's based off the old PV head that is a boost. I've seen it on Instagram. Does it have like writing, kind of like that spiky writing, like the old PV head? I think I've seen that. I've seen pictures of it. It looks like it's sort of black with blue and that kind of silvery kind of writing, like the old PV heads, and it has that sort of pointy P and stuff.
Right.
I think if that's the one, I think I've seen that one.
Well, the other thing with this is I actually just worked out what it is. There's an expression control, a TRS for expression. The expression pedal serves as a treble control, so you can darken it up.
Darken and lighten. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And it's
called
definitely
the Solid State. Yeah, I think that was maybe on. You talk. I'll look.
So this one's germanium, and it definitely has that 60s big gooey round fat, super fat fuzz thing. Lots of bass out of this super fuzz. It's kind of, the bass control's a bit weird because I did use it on a session in my studio. Excuse me. Yesterday, or the day before or something, and used it on a solo with a 335, and it was either like no bass or too much.
Okay.
There's a really fine line, so I had to tweak that and the treble control to get the right tone. But yeah, really cool.
No, it's not the ones I thought of. I'm just checking up Big Game pedals now.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the one I thought of. There's one, I can't remember what it's called, but it has, there was one, I saw it on Instagram somewhere, and it's a pedal that looks like an old PV amp, and the writing is sort of that spiky writing. It's the same sort of font as the old PV font.
I think I know the one you mean, yeah.
So you got the Supro. It looks pretty cool. This is my first time I've ever seen a Supro pedal.
Yeah.
So.
And I've got another pedal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
Yeah. The big box Electro
Mesa.
I can't.
Electro-harmonics.
Electro-harmonics.
Electric Mistress.
Electric Mistress.
That's the one.
I've got the words back to front. And yeah, it's cool. It's like that classic.
Well, it's
Sting thing.
It's yeah, Andy Summers.
Oh, not Sting. The Police thing.
Andy Summers. Yeah. That's what he used. Yeah, that was his. Because I think it has doesn't it have like a preampy kind of thing in it as well, where you can quite crank the volume, and that kind of it boosts the volume a bit as well.
I'm not sure.
Because I think that's what he was kind of driving his amps with. That
right.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of checking out some classic tones. This flange. It's fun.
That's very cool. What we should actually also mention before we get into anything else, really, which is what we usually do on a podcast, the sort of housekeeping. But because this is different, this is kind of a little bit to all the listeners. Sorry, it's a bit different because we're doing a live streaming thing. Anything you are looking at while you're listening to this podcast, take a photo of it. You know, if you're in a bus, if you're in a train, if you're at home. Big thanks to Ram, actually, Ram Jawn, our friend over in the States. He keeps sending pictures. He sent a really interesting picture of a Telecaster, of a Jazzmaster.
Yeah.
With all, looks like newspaper cutouts on it and stuff like that. Looked really interesting. Hugh Roberts he always sends messages. There's a bunch of guys. Big thank you to all you guys. So yeah, whatever it is you're looking at this point in time, take a photo of it, send it to us, superfunawesomehappytime@gmail.com, or if you on YouTube, there's links to everything below, I think. Possibly.
Throw it up on our Facebook page and we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, if you have any questions or anything, email us, superfunawesomehappytime@gmail.com, or send us a message on Instagram, or send us a message on Facebook. And there's also this. Let's see if it focuses. Focus. There we go. The Gypsy Haze by Cast Engineering. And this pedal you can actually win. There's a giveaway which is happening probably all of September, I'd say. Now September 2018. To enter it, what you first have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. And hit the notification bell, because you may have to be quick when things happen, because updates will happen on the YouTube channel. There may even be a live streaming thing on YouTube where you can win this. Fancy stuff, I know.
Yeah.
And you will also probably get more chances to win it if you like our Facebook page and Cast Engineering's and Peerless Music here in Australia. If you like all those Facebook pages, and also follow all the Instagram of the same, our Instagram, Peerless Music, and Cast Engineering. If you go to our Instagram page, just Super Fun Awesome Happy Time, no pedal show, you can see there's a big thing giveaway. You can click on it, or on YouTube as well. You can go and watch the video, and there's much more information on it. But you can win this fantastic. One more time, focus. Oh, it's thinking about it. Here we go. The Gypsy Haze by Cast Engineering. It's a really cool pedal. It's a fuzz with an Octavia kind of thing, an octave fuzz, but then you can do extra things, and there's a demo of it coming very shortly.
There is. So the more likes and subscribes, it's hard word to say, subscribes you do, the more chances you go in the draw to win.
Exactly right. So which will most likely be end of September, and it is open to anyone internationally as well.
Yep.
I think the only thing is, if there are any import duties, you may have to cover them.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is. It depends on the countries, I guess.
Yeah, if there's some crazy
import duties on it,
fuzz pedals in,
especially in fuzz pedal, the fuzz pedal tax
in Uzbekistan.
Yes, yes, in Nottingham Forest. Yes. Well, that's the whole Robin Hood thing.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, no. All right, other new things, exciting new things. So I got this.
Woo!
Let's see if it focuses. Focus.
It's springtastic.
The Spring King. We have 6 people watching now. Hello, 6 people watching. But Dan Electro. So I got, not long ago, you probably can see it there, the sort of greeny thing there. I got the Real Echo. Always wanted to buy one of them. Finally got one the other day and really liked it. And then I thought, you know what? I always wanted one of these too. Really more than anything, just because of that. And if I'm not sure what the guy's name is, but 15-second gear demos.
Oh yeah. Check him out on
Check him out.
Instagram.
Really cool videos he does on Instagram. He same as me. He always said, I just always wanted to get it because of that kick pad, and same here.
Yeah.
So you hit that and it does that spring.
Like you've kicked the back of your amp or the front.
Yeah, it's funny though, because it's a more of a deeper sound.
Oh yeah.
And then if you kind of jiggle the whole thing, it makes the normal spring sound. But that's like that's actually kind of sound like a kick almost.
So is there real springs in it?
I think so. It's quite heavy.
Springs are light though.
But I think there's springs in it, because when you move it, it does do that. When it's plugged in, it does do that sound.
Yeah, well, the kick pad's like thick rubber.
Yeah.
So we've both had this kind of thing, like, and it's come up on other forums on Facebook and stuff, of people actually having this massive love for Dan Electro gear.
Yeah.
Just because, if nothing else, just because of the cosmetics and
they look cool.
Design stuff. Just kind of this cool, fun 60s mod thing. And yeah, I've got the 4 of the original diecast pedals.
You don't have a tuner though?
No, I don't have a tuner.
No, come on, I
said 4 of the original. Which is the distortion, overdrive, the chorus and the delay.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're great. And
they're really good quality, and
there were some cheaper plastic ones that came out.
But even the Food series plastic ones, even though a lot of people really rave about them. And the Billionaire stuff, lots of people rave about it. I'd love to check it out. So Dan Electro, if anyone from Dan Electro is watching, hello. Hook us up. We've got 7 people watching now. Oh. This is crazy. We're going wild. Hello, all you 7 people.
Your wife is wrong.
Yeah, she said no one's going to watch. Let us know where you're from. Type
no faith.
Write in the comments where you're from, who you are. We'll say hello. And make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, hit like and share it as well, so other people come and watch. The more people watch, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Spring King. So there will be a video coming of that shortly. I really like it.
It's cool, huh?
It's basically a spring reverb. It doesn't really go much further than what a spring reverb would be on an amp.
Sure, okay.
You've got volume, tone, and reverb. And volume is, I think it's just a mix basically, and you just get more. Reverb is just how much reverb, and tone you can make it a bit brighter and a bit darker.
Sweet.
But it's great.
Does it go very long, like the train?
No, okay. It doesn't really go much longer than a normal spring reverb.
Right, cool.
Because I think it is an actual spring reverb, so it just does what an actual spring reverb.
Yeah.
Howdy from Knoxville, Tennessee. Hello, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Hey. G'day.
G'day. Jay Strong. Yeah, Jay Strong. Hello, Jay Strong. Sorry to all the podcast listeners, but this is, so if you listen to it, next time, come and check us out on YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
what time is it in Tennessee? Like,
it'd be yesterday evening, like late evening probably.
Do I have the thing on my telephone?
You probably have it on your telephone.
My electric telephone.
On your electric telephone. While you're doing that, so this is another thing I just got. Another new thing that just arrived. Focus. The 59 Bassman, Boss 59 Bassman. What is it called? Legacy series or Legend series?
It's 10 to 10 at night in Knoxville.
Yesterday. So hello from the future. Hello from 10 p.m. 28th of August. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So here it is just about lunchtime on the 29th on Wednesday. So hello from the future.
Hi from I can't read that place.
Eugene, Oregon.
Eugene. Better glasses.
Yeah. Oh, it's a bit far. It's a bit small to print. Eugene, Oregon. Some more American. Hello. Oh, we're down to 5.
Someone went to bed.
Don't stop watching us, people. Yeah. So what was it? The Bassman. It's I really liked it. Focus.
So this is was there 3 in that series?
There were 3. There was a 59 Bassman, there was a deluxe reverb, and a spring reverb.
And the actual reverb.
Which the spring reverb is going for kind of silly prices now.
And they're not that old, like.
No, and they weren't that expensive. I remember, I mentioned it to you before when you came here before, about 7 p.m. in Oregon, so it's
oh, cool. It's not too late. I
guess he's further east than Oregon too, as opposed to Tennessee. Sorry, we're from Australia, we don't know much. Yeah, I tried it when it first came out, because I worked at a music shop at the time, and I borrowed, I think the deluxe reverb one, not this one, because I thought at the time, is it one of those things where you can plug a guitar straight into a PA and it sounds like an amp, and it's not.
No.
And it didn't work, because I was working in an acoustic trio at the time, acoustic guitar, percussion and saxophone.
Right.
And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to bring an electric guitar along as well and do some songs electric guitar?
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, I tried, a friend of mine had the deluxe reverb one for a while, and I tried it a couple of times, and I remember it being cool. It doesn't have much gain, it just has that kind of slight breakup thing.
Same with that.
But it's a flavour thing?
Yeah.
A clean flavour?
It even has, this one has a normal and bright input.
Oh, cool.
So like on an actual amp, but it's just a nice that overdriven clean
yeah,
like I guess a Bassman if you crank it.
Yeah, cool.
It's nice. I actually liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd like to get the other 2. There's actually a really nice chap. I don't know if he's listening or not, but really nice chap. That sounded very ye olde
English.
But there's a guy in, where is he? CJ, what's his name? We had a really long chat the other night on Messenger. He is selling a bunch he collects Boss pedals.
Right.
And he works for a company.
Is he in Australia?
He's in Australia, in Victoria.
Okay.
He has and see, this is now where people with special glasses, I don't know if you can see it, but is it going to focus on it? He has a whole bunch of them that he's, the whole series, and he's selling, like, his 3 or 4 of them, of the 3 Fender Boss pedals.
Yeah, cool.
And I asked him if he was interested in any trade or anything, but he wasn't. But he's just collecting them and a bunch of other Boss pedals, and like pretty much all Boss stuff.
Right.
It's kind of odd, but lovely guy, and we were chatting, and he works for a company in Victoria. Yeah. They make guitars. What's the company called? And I've heard of them. It's the one where you put your phone in it, and then it has amp emulation and stuff in it.
What?
I've heard of them before. So it needs what are they called? Fusion guitars.
Fusion. I haven't heard of that.
These things. See, special glasses, folks.
Looks like a pea.
Is it going to focus? Focus. There we go. Fusion guitars. And he's a rep for Fusion guitars.
Okay.
And you take your phone and you download an app, and you actually connect. I think there's a place where you can actually put your phone on the guitar.
Yeah.
and then it has effects and amp emulation, and I think you can change the sound of the guitar and stuff like that.
Wow.
And I think it's an Australian company. I think they're made in China. But anyway, so we started chatting, and he was at the Melbourne Guitar Show, exhibiting, helping out that company.
Gotcha. Cool.
And on the side, I think he repairs drums. Yeah. I think that's what he actually does. Hello, by the way, if you're watching or listening, hello, CJ. And yeah, we just had a long conversation, and he loves collecting this sort of stuff, and he collects different Boss pedals.
I guess it's always hard to know what's going to be collectible.
Yeah.
But anything limited edition is probably a safe bet.
But the thing is, when they first came out, it's a Boss pedal. Usually you kind of don't think Boss is limited edition. So, and I mean, this one, when it came on a box, it even said $169. Yeah, that was the new price for it.
Sure.
So they weren't expensive.
No.
And you kind of go, oh, cool, Boss brings it out. Boss aren't gonna discontinue it, because it's Boss. They never discontinue anything. Yeah. Except for vintage pedals that go for ridiculous prices, like the Slogie and the Vibrato. But yeah, it's funny. So yeah, had a really nice guy, because he had about 3 or so of the entire sets, and he was selling it only as an entire set. Sure. And then it came up.
Was that on the Facebook group?
On our Facebook group, on the pedal group, and then it came up on our pedal group as well. A guy was selling this one, a 59 Bassman, and you tagged me on it.
Oh yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And he was selling also the reverb.
Okay.
I think he was selling the reverb and that one. And I messaged him, because the reverb was like $350 or something.
Wow.
Like that. And I messaged him and said, "Are you interested in any trades?"
Yep.
And I listed like a whole bunch of pedals, and he said, "Oh, I don't really know much about them. I only really know about Boss pedals." And
yeah.
And I think some old Japanese stuff, some Gaia tone stuff he collects as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we just started chatting, and yeah, really nice guy.
I guess it's not quite the same, but it's kind of similar to the down electro stuff, where it has a certain aesthetic, and it is kind of collectible. Yeah. Yeah.
And with this as well, I mean, it has that. It's meant to look like tweed, like I don't know if you probably can't see it in the pictures, but it's a textured finish on which is kind of a bit odd for Boss as well. Oh, hang on, Ryan, I'd love to hear what guitars you use. Oh, what guitarists you guys would say influences. Ah. Okay. Well, anyway. Okay. We'll finish this and then we'll go into that.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah. If anyone out there has more of these, not particularly the Bassman, but the other one, the
deluxe
reverb and the spring the FRV or whatever, it's the spring reverb.
Yep.
And you want to get rid of it cheap or swap for some other cool pedals like Chase Bliss pedals and stuff, shoot us an email. Wow. superfunawesomehappytime@gmail.com. Okay, so Ryan would like to know our guitarist influences.
Off you go.
Me first? Okay. So I'm a bit of an oddball.
Yes.
Because I...
also with your music influence.
With everything. I never went through the... I was never into like blues and Hendrix and SRV and Mark Knopfler and all these guys that most other guitarists are usually into. I sort of got into guitar playing. I was really into when I first started playing. Well, okay, let's start with this. When I first started playing, I was really into grunge and punk. So it was really probably the people that started me or made me want to play guitar were Kurt Cobain. Let's just say Kurt Cobain, mainly Kurt Cobain. Like I was really into that, but it also on a whole different tangent. Probably John Frusciante, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, right.
So for me,
early stuff.
1991, because I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm an old fart. Way old. 91 was probably sort of a big year for me musically. I was sort of teenager and.
Really?
Yes.
How old were you then?
91.
Yeah.
In 91, I would have been 13.
Okay.
So just being a teenager, yes. I'm 40 this year, so old man.
Is it this year or next year?
This year I'm 40. Yeah, 78 I was born. So yeah, 91 was probably a big year for me, music, because I I bought Nevermind when it came out, and I bought Blood Sugar Sex Magic when it came out, and they were probably two albums that are probably more influential than most other albums.
Yes.
For me when I grew up,
especially for that time as well, like not just for you, but for
lots of people. Yeah. So I was really into them, and that's, I think, where my likings for these types of guitars came. Were there. It was more. I mean, they both use Jaguars. Yeah. But actually, probably the guitar. Up there, which you can't see, but there's a Jaguar up there. But he's 42. See, Cobain for me 295. Yeah. Oh, okay. But I still remember very distinctively. So the Under the Bridge film clip. Yeah. That sort of, it's a funny color. I read about it later. It's like an unusual color too. It's like it's a bluey kind of color, but it's not a normal bluey Fender. It was like a special order color that he happened to get, like an old guitar. It's like an old 60s.
Oh, right, so it's not like a made for
No, it was an old 60s Jaguar he was playing in the film clip, and it had a matching headstock, and it's sort of like a bluey greeny color. I don't remember what the actual color was, but I remember reading about it, and it's not like Pelham blue, and it's not
seafoam,
whatever seafoam or what, it's like a different sort of color. And I love the look of that guitar. I always wanted one of them. That's I think where the look, and then Kurt Cobain playing there with the two humbuckers, Onsen, hello. He always comments. I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but hi, hello, how you doing, man? He comments on a lot of stuff. So hello, how you doing? So that's sort of, for me, that was probably one of the biggest things. Metallic turquoise, yeah, that could be it. Maybe something like that. It's an odd color anyway.
If not, that sounds like a cool color for a guitar.
But I love that color, and I love the look of that guitar, and Kurt Cobain as well. Yeah. Anyway, so that was probably I went into these two tangents. I was into sort of punk. Yep. And I loved bands like Nirvana, Mudhoney. I was a big Mudhoney fan. Sonic Youth as well, to a certain extent, where Jazzmasters came in as well. Buzzcocks, I was quite into them. But then on the other hand, through Red Hot Chili Peppers, I got into kind of more funky stuff.
Sure.
And a lot of it, there wasn't so much guitar per se in it. But I got through that into like Stevie Wonder and Parliament and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, great.
But then sort of the next big thing for me was I got into a band called Primus. And the guitarist in that guy called Larry Lalonde, very oddball player. I have for more live. Yeah, oh, good. Yeah, we'll try to do more live. Anyway, so Primus, I got into Primus, and I really got into that sort of stuff, and then also to a band called Mr. Bungle. And
yeah, cool.
I mean, when was that? This would have been 94-ish or so. I really got into that sort of stuff, which is very quirky music. Yeah. And a lot of it is not all like guitar based. So I went off into this other tangent then. So, and I talk a lot, I'm sorry, but I guess it's a podcast, so that's why we're here. But I really got into quite quirky music, and I really got into a guy called John Zorn, who a lot of people haven't heard of.
I know the name, but
he's a composer, New York-based composer.
Yeah.
And he does anything from like almost classical music to noise music and everything in between. He literally does everything you can imagine.
Wow.
And I was a huge fan of John Zorn, or still am a huge fan of John Zorn. And John Zorn uses a lot of really, 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 really good musos. So for example, one of the things that got me into John Zorn it was a band he used to have called Naked City.
Okay.
Super quirky music. And there's lots of people that like Mr. Bungle. So one of those bands. Yeah. Probably my absolute all-time favourite band. And their first album, the self-titled with a clown on it, I would say influenced me more than any other album in my life.
Sure.
But yeah, John Zorn. So there was a band called Naked City. And the guitarist in Naked City was a young chap by the name of Bill Frisell.
William.
So I really got into like that, and then also, he used John Zorn used a lot of other guitar players, and one of them also a guy called Mark Rebo, who probably now would be one of my favourite guitar players of all guitar players.
Cool.
So I got into sort of more quirky stuff. So I was never into my guitar, that's what, I don't even know what I am as a guitar player. I don't know. I do weird stuff, and I like effects and I like noises, and but so long story anyway. But I mean, again, it's a podcast. Probably my 3 favourite guitar players would be Bill Frisell, Mark Ribot, and lately, or last quite a few years, Nels Cline.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And it's funny, Nels Cline, I got into, because Nels Cline is in Wilco, which is a big famous band, but I got into Wilco. It's one of the funny things. I used to do this thing where I used to go to music shops, and that's, for you younger people out there, that's a place where, or record shops, it's a place where you go and there's actual CDs and records and stuff there, and you buy them and take them home and listen to it. So it's like iTunes, but in a shop.
In a shed.
And I used to do this thing, and it worked surprisingly well. I used to do this thing where I used to just walk around, not look at what section I was in, because they were in again, for the younger ones out there used to be the I don't know, jazz section and a blues section and a indie section and a heavy metal section and all these different sections. And I used to just aimlessly wander around and look at the artwork. And if I liked the artwork, I used to buy it. That was sort of a thing I did, which is the thing I really miss nowadays.
Yeah, true.
It's a way to find new music. Yeah. And anyway, so I had an album by the Nels Cline Trio. Okay. Which I bought because I got into that again through John Zorn and all that stuff, and I heard sort of things. And there's a really good music shop in Sydney called Birdland Records, who store a lot of jazz stuff, but also a lot of quirky stuff. And every time I went to Sydney, they were one of the only places where you could get music from a label called Zadig. Yeah. Zadig is John Zorn's label, his own label. Right. He puts all these ridiculous amounts of output. Like he releases like 20, 30 albums sometimes a year. Wow. And like quite extensive stuff. Anyway.
Wow. That's cool.
So yeah, I got an album from there because I think one of the guys there recommended it to me, and it was a Nels Cline. No, it was not the Nels Cline Trio. It was a Nels Cline Singers, and it's called Nels Cline Singers, and no one sings. It's a funny thing. Anyway. And then I did one of those things where I walked around the record shop, and I bought just because I liked the album cover, I bought a Wilco album. Yes. And then I didn't even really know that was Nels Cline, but I really liked the guitarist, and I thought, oh, that's great guitar playing, and I looked it up, and there's Nels Cline, I knew. And I really like Wilco. Wilco's another band I really like, but
I've only got one of their albums, so
they're great. They're really, really good.
Another thing,
I've got quite a lot of his stuff.
Investigate.
Very good stuff. I'm a big Wilco fan. So yeah, Nels Cline, Bill Frisell, Mark Ribot. And Mark Ribot, again, is another guy I got into through... actually, funny again, I got into through John Zorn because I read, who's playing on this, and Mark Ribot, cool. And there was another band called Medeski, Martin and Wood. Yeah. And they did a couple of albums. It's a trio, but it's drums, bass and organ. Yeah. And there's a couple of albums where there's guitar in it as well, and he played on it, Mark Ribot played on it. And then the other thing I then found out, because I never used to really look at album, like who plays on it, I've been an Elvis Costello fan for many years, and he plays on a lot of Elvis Costello. He's been Elvis Costello's guitarist outside of his band, like Elvis Costello's band, like the solo stuff. Right. Mark Ribot plays on it. And I've also for many moons been a Tom Waits fan. Yeah. And I got into Tom Waits through Primus, but it's a different story. And
really?
he plays Mark Ribot plays on most Tom Waits albums since Rain Dogs.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Well, I got into Tom Waits through Primus because there's a Primus song called Tommy the Cat.
Yeah.
I'm listening to John Zorn now. I love the new Mary Halverson, Bill Frisell. Yeah, that's great. That's a great album, actually.
Okay.
Mary Halverson, she's great.
Thanks, Rick Jones. I've just got some new listening stuff.
Mary Halverson, she's great. Yeah. She's really, really good. Okay, she's cool. a really quirky female guitar player.
This is educational for me.
Yeah, it's all a bit more quirky stuff. Yeah. But what was I saying? Yeah, there's a Primus song called Tommy the Cat.
Yeah.
Which is sort of one of their big sort of cult songs, and there's this really fast talking bit when Tommy the Cat is like telling the story of Tommy the Cat, and it's Tom Waits. And I went, oh, I really like this. And then I bought a Tom Waits album, and it's nothing like it, but it's really, really cool. And anyway, so there you go. So very long story. Hang on, Joe Strunk. Before you have you listened to Bob Hund? They're a Swedish band you might like. Oddball, sometimes noisy punk influences much of... Cool, Graham Coxon. I like Graham Coxon too. Yeah, I like his stuff. Cool, yeah. I'm going to check that out. Thank you very much. Nice. Thanks for letting us know. Always good to know, interested in new music. Because
you just kind of, sometimes you just get not bogged down, but just sort of in the same loop of listening to the 10 albums you have on your phone or something.
It's actually another really interesting thing is with all the John Zorn stuff, and all these sort of New York downtown. They're like it's a whole scene of all improvisational music, and they're really into that. Quite a few years ago, Norah Jones released her big famous album, the one that won like mountains of Grammys and stuff. All the guys that play on that album are all from that downtown John Zorn scene. So, and the guitarist who recorded on that album played in a band called the Trio Convulsive, I think it's called, which is Trevor Dunn, the bass player out of Mr. Bungle, and he played guitar now. And I think Mary Halverson played on that as well at times, like in a Trio Convulsive. And the guy who wrote Don't Know Why... what's his name? Anyway, he's on some John Zorn albums as well. Like the biggest hit. Yeah, wow. Anyway. Yeah. So, thanks for that. Graham Coxon is great. I love his style of playing. Just so all over the place. And one of my favourite all-time Blur songs is Coffee and TV. And that's him. He sang it and played it. And I love the solo in that. Like, I love that sort of stuff. Like, completely out of tune. And I actually was watching that pedal show, and he was saying it was just like a scratch take to put a solo there. And he was just playing around with effects, but it sounded cool. He was just sitting there hitting things and playing with effects, and it sounded really cool. I love his style. I love his style playing.
Went to go back to do the solo for real, and they're like, no, we got it.
We got it. It sounds really good. So Graham Coxon's cool, and there's a couple of videos of him now showing his home studio and stuff, and he did a soundtrack for something. Film, wasn't it? For some film that is really cool as well. Or no, it's a TV show, I think, a Netflix TV show maybe, or something like that. Anyway, cool. All right, I'll stop talking now. Over to you. So for me, in a nutshell, probably my biggest influences all time, probably Kurt Cobain and John Frusciante got me into guitar playing.
Right.
And then Bill Frisell, or probably I should include Larry Lalonde. I should include as well. And then most likely also guys like Trace Baranzi from Mr. Bungle. Bill Frisell, Mark Ribot, Nels Klein, those kind of people. Over to you.
Interesting. Stroked my beard. Interesting.
He covered a Bob Hunt song some time ago.
Alright.
Okay, cool. I'm going to take a photo of this. You talk. Because I'm going to... It'll be on... Will it be? Anyway, I'll take a photo of it anyway, and then I'll remember it, hopefully.
It's like Inception.
Yeah, it is Inception. This is cool. This is great. I love this stuff.
I guess I'm a bit more guitar playery, traditional.
Boring.
It's pronounced blues.
Yes. Blues are boring.
So I started listening to, as everyone does when you're a kid, like 7 years old. Like, start listening to your parents' record collection. My parents never listened to music. That's why. Anyway, just to so it's all cassettes and a little bit of vinyl, but mostly cassettes. I guess the late 80s. Things like the Eagles and James Taylor and some country stuff. Dire Straits was a big one. I still remember.
Play Origin 50. We were going to, but stuff isn't working. But I'm going to do a video very shortly, a Tuesday morning with, which is sort of thing, where I just play the Origin and put a few boost pedals and stuff in it and compare it to the Bass Breaker. Because they're two similar amps, but really cool. Okay, back to you. Sorry to interrupt.
And Dire Straits was a big one. I still remember being like, I don't know, 6 or 7 and listening to the intro from Money for Nothing, just like really cranked it. And so that kind of...
So the Knopfler.
Knopfler, yeah. And the Brothers in Arms album. That's the one I had on cassette.
On cassette?
Yeah.
You show your age now too.
Because I'm actually about to turn 35. So.
See, you're young.
We look young because we're
young, yeah.
I
don't go outside. That's why.
The Studio 10's come along now.
Studio 10, yeah.
And then,
just at night. Yeah. But I don't do gigs when it's a full moon. Moonburn.
Actually, speaking of moonburn, so anyway, after that I started playing guitar when I was 10, and then kind of got into it was not burnt but taped off a record, an album, Stevie Ray Vaughan album. I used to listen to that, the taped copy on TIAC or something, or whatever the three letters were.
Yeah.
Company, TDK or something.
TDO.
Yeah. So I'd listen to that all the time, and it had
you're my pride and joy. You're my sweet little baby.
Yeah.
Now I'm your little lover boy.
What's the Hendrix cover? He did the instrumental.
Little Wing.
Little Wing. Yeah.
See, I know it.
Yeah. And so that was killer. I listened to heaps of that stuff, and then sort of like around 13 to 14, I was just listening to that all the time, and then kind of got into some more. So in Australia, there's a radio station called Triple J, which is like the independent alternative radio station. It's called the Youth Radio Show or something.
Youth.
Yeah, it is. Mostly pop music.
It's a trendy, it's a trendy channel.
And then at the time, there's stuff like
hi Mike.
Just kind of, I don't know, all sorts of things, kind of like mid 90s, I guess. Just can't think of bands off the top of my head. But anyway, I started getting into ska music.
Realised to play without a pick, yeah.
Not that, yeah, great attack too. So I started getting to like funk and ska stuff.
Oh.
And I had a ska band in the last couple of years in high school. And it was we had tenor sax and trumpet player and all that kind of thing. And then when I was about 15, 16, I went to a festival, like the first big festival I went to, and Ozomatli were playing from LA, I believe. And that was sort of got me into, like, I bought a couple of Ozomatli albums, got into kind of that Latin Cuban hip hop thing a little bit, and then there's a festival called Blues Fest, which is still running here in Byron Bay, and
which is huge now.
They get massive lineups every year. It's just insane every year. And that compilation CD had a whole bunch of stuff on it. Actually, the headline that year was ZZ Top.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. So I'm like 15, 16, and just, yeah, I remember being at the back of the tent, like this big top circus marquee type tent. 10,000 people something in there. And there's the kick drum changing your pulse at the back of there.
Yeah.
Like, that was very rock and roll. And yeah, saw some. Oh, that I still remember. It was like, yeah, that's a long time ago. But I remember Bella Fleck and the Flecktones played.
Oh, that's cool.
That was phenomenal.
They're cool.
And
I love the drum thing. That's the coolest thing ever. But anyway.
And Victor obviously just
Victor Wooten.
melting faces.
Victor Wooten, yeah, he's the man.
And Bella.
Have you seen much of his stuff with his brother Reggie on guitar? They're so cool.
Yeah.
It's anyway. Sorry, I interrupt.
So I started getting all that kind of stuff. Actually, I remember during that set, it was like mid-afternoon at the festival, and Bella's like, "Hey, this next song's in, I think it was 13/8 or 11/8 or something."
Okay.
He's like, "Don't try to dance to it." And it's so right. He's like, well, people just fall over. That was, yeah, and then so then we started playing ska stuff and got into like Real Big Fish and Area 7, which is an Australian more punky ska.
I think I did a support gig with them.
Area 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
At the Nambour RSL.
Wow. And then we played a festival, a Triple J supporter festival, and Friends of Roma headlined.
Oh, I did support them, I think.
Yeah, cool. And Friends of definite punk band.
Or the attitude, they've got the punk attitude thing going as well.
It's definitely punk. Yeah, so kind of did that sort of thing. And then, I guess after high school, I got into like some G3 stuff. Like
Satriani.
Satch and Vi and thing. attempted to learn how to tap, which lasted 6 months. And
I tried that.
Yeah.
I got into Bad Horsey, the album Bad Horsey.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the album called Bad Horsey? The one that Bad Horsey was on.
I had Surfing with the Avian.
And I watched. No, that's Satriani. No, the Vi album, the one with Bad Horsey on it.
I don't think I had any of his albums.
I had that, and I saw him on that tour.
Right. Okay.
With Mike Mangini on drums and this big buff Islander-looking dude on bass.
Yeah.
And actually another guy he absolutely blew my mind, Mike Keneally.
Right.
That guy blew my mind.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, and I should say, going back to me, Frank Zappa. How can I forget Frank Zappa? Frank Zappa, absolute humongous influence on me. Sorry, back to you.
Yeah. Why I thought of Moonburn earlier.
Moonburn.
There's an album called Moonburn.
Okay.
From John Cleary.
John Cleary, no, he's cool.
So I started getting into that kind of New Orleans funk stuff, piano-driven things.
Do you get into Harry Connick Jr. much?
A little bit.
Because that his album She, that actually
I don't own it, but it's cool stuff.
What's Jonathan Dubose Jr. whatever his name is, who played guitar on that?
Don't know.
Not a lot of guitarists have listened to that album, but listen to it if you. I think it's his best, Harry Connick Jr.'s best album, She.
No, you now know I don't play ska anymore, unfortunately. I'd love to play ska. That was in high school days.
But yeah, check out She, Harry Connick Jr. Some of the solos are killer. Like the guitar playing in that is insanely good. Sorry, stop interrupting.
What was I saying? Yeah.
Moonburn.
So got into
New Orleans funk.
And around that time, I guess that's when I was in my early 20s. So I started touring with this band, and they were a bit older. They were probably about 30 or so at the time, and the drummer's Marty. He's a phenomenal drummer, like proper world class player.
Did you get much into two-tone, Alex?
A little bit. It's more like newer punk ska, like Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. And
did you get into like Madness and stuff? Because that's another band I absolutely loved, Madness.
No, not really. I did. This was a small country town, so we had limited people who knew about ska to educate us when you're 16. But I started touring with this band, and this drummer Marty Smith, who's just phenomenal, like proper world class drummer. He started introducing me to all this cool stuff, and another album from the self-titled John Cleary and the Monster Gents album, and one of the coolest piano albums all times, the live Elton John one from 1971, I think.
Okay.
And I think it's just like a club in New York, and it's piano-based drums. It's a set, and it's the most rock and roll thing.
He was great back in the days.
Thunders on piano.
Now he's too much of a diva, but back in the days, like the Yellow Brick Road days,
sure,
he was great.
Well, this is before great songs. Any hits. Like you don't, there's no like pop hits in the set, and it actually does a cover of Honky Tonk Woman.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of like half time and swampy. I'll have to give you coffee. It's really, really cool. And then they also got me onto like stuff like some more funk and jazz stuff, and then got in George Benson.
Oh, Benson's the man.
And you just can't play a note wrong.
But he's one of those guys. It annoyed me too, because you try to play like him, and even if you can play the lines, it doesn't sound anything like him, because he's on another level. That man, like on a very, very another level.
But the whole time this was going on, because I grew up in a country town, I was actually playing country gigs. We were playing like rodeos and country shows.
Box socials?
Mostly like back of the truck gigs where there's dust and cattle and
lots of yeehaws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And hats and stuff. So there's quite a big country scene in Australia. It's a massive country scene. So we'd do festivals, and that's where I taught myself to hybrid pick, like chicken pick.
Because you do. I do that a lot.
And now I taught myself to do it probably when I was like 18 or so. I can't undo it now.
Yeah,
you become a...
I have noticed that you do it a lot.
Yeah, and it's just...
Yeah.
I think it's...
I'm useless at it.
But I'd love to be able to flat pick really nicely, like do acoustic bluegrass things or stuff like that. But I just can't get my fingers to start. So yeah, I kind of.
Damn you, country.
Yeah. But then some of the country players are phenomenal. Like Brad Paisley is actually a monster player.
Oh, they're great players.
And actually,
even an Australian buddy. What's his name?
Stuart.
No, the really famous Australian country guy.
Keith Urban.
Yeah, he's a pretty good. He's a great player. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Actually, there's a country.
His brother used to come into the music shop.
Oh yeah.
At Noosa, because they live.
Yeah,
locally. Yeah.
Cabooses?
Well, I think the family lives in Noosa. His family lives in Noosa, but anyway, which is where we are here, roughly.
Roughly. And yeah, kind of was learning country chops, and so yeah, it's quite eclectic, I guess. Now I'm talking about it, but yeah.
So who would you, if you had to say like 5 guitarists, your biggest influence?
Ooh. Probably Knopfler for a start. That's good.
10. We've got 10 viewers. Hello. 10 viewers.
I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is a tricky one. Well, see, because I thought of another guy now.
Yeah.
That Jeff Martin from the Tea Party.
Sure.
We actually got to play a couple of gigs with him, and in an original band I used to be in, and he had one of the best live guitar tones I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
He did have 2 matchless heads with 4 quad boxes.
Awesome.
And at the time he had the 2 matchless heads, 4 quad boxes. It was sort of like a semicircle. So he had 2 heads, not stacked, but next to each other, the 4 quad boxes. And then he had 2 Fender Twins on either end on the side.
I bet he could
upright.
hear himself okay.
But his guitar sound was fantastic. It was absolutely best guitar sound I've heard live of anyone.
Yeah, right.
Tea Party back in the days.
Well, that's the other thing. Because I did get in G3 for a while. So my dad has this thing of.
Jeff is Michelin Chieftains, very awesome. Yeah, they were fantastic, and I love how the logo lights up.
Yeah,
and I still to this day I want to get a matchless or a bad cap because I mean that's the same sort of thing, just because of that.
So yeah, my dad went through this thing for a while, like for birthdays and Christmas presents.
Yeah,
who'd get us concert tickets.
Oh, okay.
Because it's really fun and we'd go together.
Yeah.
And his birthday's only a few weeks away from mine, and it'd just be a thing we'd all go and do as family, and went to see some really cool gigs. And one of them was G3 a few years ago now, and it was with I've gone blank. Guitarist. The third one was
that guitarist.
The third one was
that narrows it down.
from the band Toto.
Oh, look at that!
Look at that!
Oh, wow, that would have been good.
That was cool. It really changed. Like the show really changed because Steve Lichter played in the band, and the other guys played in front of the band.
Yeah.
Both musically and physically.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they do like a 20-minute, half-hour changeover, whatever. 20 minutes to change bands and backline and stuff between sets. So you go out the foyer and go to the toilet, have a drink, and these young teenage guys walk in front of us like, who's that old guy out first? I just feel like slapping around here.
Look at the man,
probably
the most recorded guitarist ever, and that was monster player. Oh yeah, insane. So bit of a douche from what you see in interviews, but monster player. I went to see G3. Well, I was invited along to see G3 when it was Vine Satriani and
not Malmsteen.
No. Dream Theater. Petrucci.
Yeah.
Because at the time,
well, I've seen Dream Theater live, the band.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was funny because it was he had Mark Portnoy on drums.
Oh yeah.
And he got a bigger ovation when Mark Portnoy came out.
Really?
At a guitar thing, he got a bigger ovation. The drummer got a bigger ovation than the guitar player.
Wow.
Hang on. Did he do Billie Jean or Beat It? Look at that.
I can't remember now. Jeez. a few years ago. I can't remember, to be honest.
There's actually... hang on, I'll just quickly say that and then I'll go back to it. I've got a thing on Steve Lukather.
He did dedicate a song to... is it Jeff Porcaro, the drummer?
The drummer, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff. He did dedicate a song to him, which is kind of sad. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, so I got invited to the G3 thing because at the time I was working for the Australian carving importers and distributors, so we supplied amps and cabinets for Steve Vai. So we were invited by Steve Vai to come along, and we met him and stuff like that, and he came along. But yeah, it was
honky honk.
Honk, yeah. Petrucci was really boring though, because all he does is like buff, and he puts one foot. I think he even has a special thing to put his foot up, like next to his pedal board, and he stands and he just shreds. It doesn't move.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfect. I mean, there's not one bum note. It's perfect, but it was really boring to watch. And in all honesty, Vi was he puts on a show. He's a showman. You can, whether you like him or not. But but it was just funny because it was like, and here's John Petrucci, and on drums, Portnoy, yay! Everyone got really into it. But yeah, there's a really interesting podcast actually with Steve Lukather, and it's a drummer podcast about Porcaro. Yeah, but he's interviewed about him. And he's talking about the recording session for Thriller, for the album Thriller. And how much of it he actually did. He played so many of the instruments of it.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of it is like basically all the Toto guys.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is literally just him. He programmed drums, he did keyboard programming, and he said the amount of time it was just Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson hiding behind the couch because he was very shy, and he had to have like lights off when he was singing because he didn't like people looking at seeing him while he was singing and stuff. Michael Jackson, like, he was super shy. Wow. But he said the amount of time it was just the three of them in a studio, and he basically did everything. Wow. And this is the biggest album ever, and he basically played most of it. It's quite amazing. Hang on, Patricia's foot thing is a thumper. It has low frequency drivers, so you can feel the bottom end. Okay, well there you go.
A drummer I've worked with has one of those, like, it's...
So you can feel, we should say it for people that can't see it. Yeah. So it's so you can feel the bottom end of his guitar because he uses in-ear monitors on stage, and the stage volume is pretty quiet. Oh, cool! It's interesting. Good to know. But yeah, I mean, and again, nothing against. He's a mother of a player, but purely visually, it was the most boring because he literally was just standing and it looked like he was almost flexing a bit, but I guess he was tensing up because he was playing so freaking fast. And Satriani, it was like, wah wah wah, point, da 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 da, point. That was like Satriani. And Vi it was actually funny because I don't know if I mentioned this on a podcast before, but afterwards was like a meet and greet with him, and someone asked him if he was going to do more acting because he was in that one movie, was it Crossroads?
Oh, right.
He was the devil, or the guitarist for the devil. And he kind of sort of said, well, what do you think I just did for an hour on stage? And he says, a lot of people sort of make fun of him for making facials and stuff. But he said, take a guitar, stand in front of the mirror, and try to play a sad melody while smiling. And he goes, and then try to play a sad melody while looking sad. He goes, it comes across. You actually feel it more if you try to feel it. And that's what he does. He doesn't like making stupid faces, but he's sort of acting it out what he's playing. And it's right to a certain degree. But it was funny because one of the other guys that came along, who was also part of the carving thing, not a guitar player. Yeah. When the G3 thing, it's not his thing. It's not his thing. But he was sort of saying at the end of it, he said, well, out of the three of them, Vi actually engaged. It was an engaging performance because he actually performed. Satriani just pointed, and the other guy didn't do anything.
The other thing I remember about Satch's set was like half as loud again as the other two.
Oh, he was ridiculously loud. Yeah.
Not just outside.
Because I think he's deaf too, isn't he? Probably like half deaf or something. But I guess he would. Guitar pedals we own. What's our favourite guitar pedal?
That's probably a whole other box of worms.
That's a whole podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, quickly.
Quick.
Top 3.
Ooh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you had to have pedal tray nano, let's say, can fit 5 pedals on it, and you're going on a tour that's all you can take, what would you take? And you had to cover big grounds of music.
The ones that we currently own.
Do we have to own them?
Yeah, it says on the thing.
That you own, okay, that we currently
own. Probably the Pictronics Delay Ecolution.
Ultra Pro 2.
Ultra Pro 2.
If you watch any of the videos, it's always on that.
This is going to be quite traditional because most of the sounds I use are quite straightforward. So.
Or lame.
I quite like my Mode tremolo.
That is a good tremolo. Did you hear, by the way, side note, the Mogofogo, the big, got discontinued?
Yeah.
So they got up ridiculous in price now.
I was going to say we should buy shit.
I own one.
Yeah, we should buy them this week.
So I mean, they won't go up in price.
Shh,
don't tell anyone else.
There's a little chip inside where they explode in a week, so you should send them to us.
Yes, that's right.
And then I definitely need a drive of some sort.
Yeah.
Tricky drives. You know what I like is the Jam Pedals one at the moment.
Tube Dreamer
Plus.
It did sound great.
Yeah,
I think we mentioned it a couple of times before, but when we record videos,
actually, yeah,
there's a bit of a time gap between when we record them and when we edit them, and
like a few days or a week.
A few days or a week or something more, and then Alex does all the audio editing. I do all the video editing. And then he sends me the audio and I do the video and I listen back to it, and that was one of the ones where I went, damn, that sounds good.
Oh yeah? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Actually, that's probably a good question. What about you?
The mini Fugger pedals, that trem is great. Yes, that's the mini Fugger.
The little one. Yeah.
Me? Okay, so if I had to, just for everyday use.
So you're flying to a gig outside the country.
Okay.
You got 3 on a little board.
Probably my most used, and I guess because of that, my favourite. I have to have a whammy. I need a whammy pedal. I love the whammy pedal.
You're probably the only person that says I need a whammy.
I don't think I've done a electric guitar gig in over a decade without a whammy pedal, and it just. Even just doing silly stuff just to keep myself entertained. Yeah. So that, and then I would probably my drives of choice for ages now has been a Boxer Rock for that breakup clean. Because I guess depending on if you use backline or whether you bring your own amps, but anyway, for the breakup clean, Boxer Rock is killer. And the King of Tone, that's probably my 2 favourite drive pedals ever. Do we have another? I recently got the King of Tone, which is incredible. Yes, King of Tone is killer. That's I've got 2. Yeah. And it's best drive. In saying that, recently the Mostronics Tube Driver, I think, hang on, let's
a distortion.
For high gain distortion is absolutely insanely good.
Speaking of,
and this thing I use more and more at home.
Oh yeah.
So this is the Mostronics Tube Driver, which is zoom focus. Yes, focus. There we go. Awesome pedal. We're going to do our friend Chris Palmer. I don't know if you're watching. Hi Chris, if you're watching over in what is it, Kuala Lumpur or wherever it is.
I think so.
We're going to do a shoot because it's a tube preamp kind of driver pedal, and he's got I think 2 of the Kingsley pedals.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a shootout between them.
The joke.
But this one as well. You can put your special glasses on. It's focusing. The K818 by Greenchild. Hi Mason, if you're watching and or listening. The K818, I use it a lot at home now.
Yeah, cool.
Really good. But for live use, I guess we're sort of saying live use. Do you mean a Digitech whammy or a wah?
No.
Digitech whammy. So the Digitech whammy, Box of Rock for breakup, King of Tone for 3 actually, different gain stages, because you can have one, the other, or both. So that's 3 pedals. Yep. Let's say 5 then.
I only got 3.
You only got 3? Well, I need...
Okay, you can have 4 then.
4, okay, one more.
Do you want like a delay type thing?
No.
No?
No, I probably wouldn't use a delay.
Mod.
would probably have some. No, I'd need. Is the Eventide H9? Is that cheating? Okay, Eventide H9.
Okay.
Because that's got delays on it.
Yep.
But it also has quirky sounds on it.
Harmonic.
No, like synth kind of sounds.
Yeah.
And because I was going to say maybe the Bit Commander, Earthquaker Devices Bit Commander. That's a pedal I really, really like. Also, actually, the Absinthe by FT Electronica. That's another really, really cool pedal. I don't want to be bored. I want to, do quirky things.
Benefits of having a 12AX7 in a tube in a pedal compared to having a preamp section of the amp. Well, you've actually got both going on.
You've got both happening at the same time.
So the valve in the pedal is just part of the gain stage of the distortion unit. And
it runs at, I don't know if you can see it, it runs at 16 volt AC. So it's quite a lot of power that goes into it. So it actually does crank the tube a bit.
It's just a way of getting distortion.
It's just another way of getting distortion.
It's a very good way of getting distortion.
And this thing, and I know, I mean, probably a lot of people will say, he sends us this stuff for free, and that's why we're saying it's good. But I'm being totally honest. Yeah. He's not paying us or anything. He just sent us these pedals. And this thing is seriously good. This is, in my opinion, one of the absolute best high gain distortions I've ever played.
Because he sent us probably like 5 or 6.
He sent us a lot of stuff, and he also sent us, I don't know if you can see it, there's a that which is his tube preamp, which is actually really good as well, which there will be a video of that coming up at some stage.
Like every manufacturer, to be brutally honest, there's a few things you like and a few things I like, and a couple that we don't particularly like.
Yeah.
So it's just personal preference.
Yeah. But this really, really blew me away. This is excellent.
However, we both really like that.
That is absolutely excellent.
And it's definitely higher gain.
See, this is another pedal I really like that I would really like to put on this board, but the board is getting too big.
Well, maybe you need a board rebuild.
Maybe you need a board rebuild. Autoped is another one of my absolute favourites that I use a lot. Actually, I just ran. There is a Arturia drum machine. That through this sounded absolutely killer. For some recording I did here at home. So that's another one that I would. I mean, there's a lot that I would like, but
yeah.
Autobit is great. That's great. What else? Is there anything else?
Fuzz Probe.
Lots of pedals around.
Fuzz Probe.
Fuzz Probe, possibly Fuzz Probe. Is there anything else? I mean, there's tons of great pedals.
Oh, I'm getting the Dark Side pedal by Keeley this week.
Yeah, oh, cool. Yeah, the kind of Pink Floyd-esque inspired one. Yeah.
We haven't played that one, but what was the other one we played? The Hendrix one.
The Monterey.
That was cool. The fuzz side on that Monterey is really cool. It's kind of lower gain, and it's kind of like one of those things that's fuzz for people who don't do fuzz.
I'd like to try more Keeley stuff because, oh god, there's so many freaking pedals here.
They're smashing it out every NAMM show.
This thing is fantastic. Is it focusing?
Yeah. It's the Oxblood.
There we go, the Oxblood. There, it's focusing finally. This thing is killer pedal.
Yeah.
I'd like to try more Keeley stuff. So, Robert, if you're watching, hello. Love your stuff.
We probably should wind it up.
We should slowly wind it up. We've been going for over an hour.
Things to do.
So yeah, so
things to do.
Other than that, I can't really think of too much more. I mean, they're not pedals, but I really, really like those the two Boss things I've got here. The RX100 and the DM100. They're really, really good sounding units, delay units. Also hang on, is it going to be the GX700 rack mount Boss thing? Has my favourite vibrato sound of all. I'm actually hoping there's the Earthquaker Devices is bringing out this new. Have just announced it, or are about to announce the new vibrato pedal.
Yeah.
I want them to do, because what the GX700 it's an auto vibrato, so it actually has an envelope. So as you're playing it, if you strum harder, or if you're just strumming something, there is no vibrato.
Yeah.
And then as you let's say, a chord ring on the tail of it, it starts getting.
Yeah, cool.
Which is really, really cool. I've got to do a video of that at some stage. There's a lot of videos. What's a grinder?
It's an app where you find men in your area.
Is it, Alex? Why are you asking what's a grinder?
Oh, what's the comment before? Keely Maxwell's, I've even got a grinder of his website.
A grinder of his website. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Anyway, Grindr is an app where
well, that's what the kind of stuff you look at. I don't know. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, there's lots of... This has been great. Thank you so much, everyone. I guess we should slowly wrap it up because it's over an hour. But let us know if you like this, if you want us to do this a little bit more. All the podcast listeners and iTunes and Podbean and all that stuff, they didn't get to see it. But you can, be online and see it. Let us know if you want us to do more of these sort of Q&A type things.
It's been fun.
It's been really fun.
Educational.
Very educational. Thanks to all the guys.
There's 10 people watching now.
There's 10 people watching right now. With an average of 1 message a minute.
Sweet.
Look at that.
Great time. Thanks, Ryan.
You guys have to do this again.
Thanks,
Great
Ryan.
time. Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the questions. And let us know is this time a good time?
I guess it's easy.
Say hi to the big pineapple for me.
Thanks, Chris.
That's not too far from here. Yeah,
it's actually near my house.
It's near his house. Do you live in a big pineapple?
I live in a big thing, but it's not a pineapple.
Not a pineapple?
It's a triangle.
It's a big triangle. This is awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is sort of a test. And is the audio okay? Is it all right? Because it's just coming through the camera speaker at the moment because we couldn't get the this thing here, my interface, to work with the streaming thing. But let us know if the audio was all right for the YouTube thing and the video was all right. Hopefully it was good. And thank you so much.
Sounds fine. Cool. Okay, sweet.
Sounds fun. Excellent. Great. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please make sure, as always, post a picture of what it is you're looking at while you're listening to this, or even while you're watching this. Not too roomy, clean, crisp. Excellent. Send us an email. Say hello. superfunawesomehappytime @gmail.com, or go to our Facebook or Instagram. Send us a message, say hi. Thanks to everyone in the chat, thanks to everyone listening, and
cool.
See you guys next time.
Catch you around.
Bye. Now, how do I turn this off?
Try swearing at it.
Yes.
Or kicking it.
Let's kick it. Okay. Bye, everyone.